Hi, mystery writers. And today I wanted to talk about something that I think is really important for those of you who are launching your mystery writing journey, and that is, are you writing a villain or an antagonist? Because it really helps to know the difference in a mystery. Because your villain is an antagonist, but your antagonist may not be a villain. These terms are often used interchangeably when people talk about writing a novel, but in a mystery, they are very specific. And they're separate, and they serve two different functions in a mystery. So let's look at some definitions just to start off so we have some ground base. A villain in a film, novel, or play is a character whose evil actions or motives are important to the plot. And then an antagonist is a person who actively opposes, is hostile to someone or something, an adversary. And the distinctions are based on the character role in the story. So author Anika Griffin nails it. The villain is a character type, and the antagonist is a plot role. So let's look at the difference between the two. Let's first start with what is an antagonist. An antagonist is a character who challenges your protagonist in the story. It's that simple. So one story may have several antagonists. Antagonists create tension and keep readers reading, and the antagonist's function in the plot is to cause trouble. That's their job. So you need antagonists in your story to build tension, keep readers involved with your protagonist, and keep turning the pages. When nothing happens, the protagonist has no challenges and there's no story. So antagonists are really essential to your story framework. And whether you're a pantser or a plotter, your antagonists are story-building tools to create pressure on your protagonist and constrict and thwart their planned actions. And as you create your story, the antagonist is the building block for creating situations that move the story forward. When a plot contains several antagonists, you create several levels of tension by the degree each antagonist frustrates your protagonist. So let's look at some examples of antagonist roles in a story. The ex-spouse or significant other that shows up with a problem. The job partner who has opposing views and badmouths your protagonist. The neighbor or local resident who puts the make on your protagonist at inappropriate moments, and you can escalate the tension when they get vicious when rejected. A crime suspect who holds back important information. A meddler who tries to make things better but complicates your hero's situation. And the villain. The villain is an antagonist. So antagonists are story tools to test your protagonist, and the villain is the main antagonist. So who is your villain? The villain in your story is a character whose prime motivation is malicious, and the villain functions in the plot as the main antagonist. And to build a strong and memorable villain, your character needs to be more than bad. The villain creates the ultimate challenge for your protagonist, and this is especially important in a mystery because we keep that villain hidden until the end. So you've got to know a lot about your villain in order to drip those clues into your story. You want to make your villain a worthy opponent for your protagonist, so you need to create deep, rich character background for your villain, so don't skimp. Your villain is just as important as the protagonist. So here are some attributes you need for your villain. He's, 1, worthy enough to make your protagonist look good when they identify him, all right? And your villain's skills match or exceed your hero's skills. And your villain believes they're doing the right thing in their world and their perception of the universe, all right? And he has characteristics that actually match your protagonist, but they're misguided. And you can showcase your villain's skills so your reader respects their skills. Whatever attributes you give your villain, he can't be wimpy. Wimpy villains just don't work in a story. He must be strong enough to challenge your protagonist, and when they're matched, you create that page-turning tension. You can add additional attributes to complicate their character. You want to make them very three-dimensional. So say they have a soft spot. They love children or kittens or women in distress. Doesn't matter what they've done to murder the victim, they also have this soft spot. Another way you can look at it is his internal principles, his guiding principles guide him to be merciless even to the innocent. He's proud. Villains are normally proud. He's skilled at mistruths and deceit, and that's certainly very important in your mystery, because all along he or she is hiding their role from your detective. He's persuasive in a manipulative way, and deep down he's jealous of your hero. So as you add details to your villain, align them with the character you envision. Don't pick attributes and traits willy-nilly. Create a really coherent personality that grabs the reader's attention and keeps them interested with the depth. So sort your antagonists and create your villain. Your villain is actually one of the multiple suspects in your story, and so with all their skills, they keep themselves hidden until the end. So think of it as antagonists are plot devices that create obstruction and challenges for your hero. And remember, you can have more than one antagonist. But the villain is the character and the protagonist's main opponent. So once you've identified your antagonists and create a masterful villain, you'll fill your story with obstructions and tensions that keep your reader engaged. I really hope that helps you with how this works. It's really important to make those distinctions, I think, especially for mystery writers, because in many genres, the villain's out there in the open, and you get to play with all their dastardly conceits and their deeds. But in a mystery, the villain is hidden, so you have to know a lot about your villain in order to drop those hints and clues and foreshadow the culminating event, and yet keep them a secret until the end. But you can have lots of fun playing in the middle with the antagonists. So if you can have multiple antagonists, and for example, that partner that's jealous and keeps trying to undermine what your hero is doing, or the ex-girlfriend who keeps showing up at inappropriate moments, all that sort of thing. I think antagonists are fun to play with to add dimension to your story. Okay, that's it for today, and thank you for being a member of the Mystery Writers Studio. I want to welcome our new members because we are growing every week, and also encourage you to ask questions in the group because other writers can help you. It's just how it works when we share. And so thank you for being here. I lost my train of thought. Sorry. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next week.